Hi everyone, Nubkeks here, and in today's video I want to discuss the place of placement games in Heroes of the Storm. I actually had to re-record this video as well. It's the second time I'm doing it, so I had it all done. I had it edited, uploaded, boom, everything was good to go, there we are. And then Blizz came out and were like, yeah, we're actually changing how placement games work a little bit. So I'm back for round 2. I think this is a pretty interesting question though, because I feel like it's really not that clear cut. I think there's actually pretty decent arguments for both sides of things, and I think that's how I'm going to do it in this game. Also, I have no idea how that Samuro clone got there so quick. That was kind of weird. Yeah, they got some Nova gameplay in the background, so I'm not going to talk about it apart from that though. Just enjoy. I'll have a video on Nova soon, so you can look forward to that. But yeah, so I want to contrast two different possibilities for placement games. Possibility number one is what we have now, where every season you play 10 placement games. The placement games have a relatively large effect on your rating, on the rank that you get placed into, and it just happens every single season, regardless of whether you've played ranked before or not. The big change that Blizzard made today, or are making today as I'm recording this actually, is that they've decided to limit how much your rank can change based on your placement games. I think that's been the big problem this season, because I know from previous seasons that it didn't have as large of a rank. I'm fairly certain that they massively increased the effect that placement games can have on where you end up. For example, you would actually, if you were a high rated player, let's say if you were contending for Grandmaster specifically, right, in the early seasons, so I'm talking about like season 1, 2, maybe season 3, I don't remember for season 3, but certainly those early seasons, the most effective way to get to Grandmaster was to intentionally lose all of your placement games, okay? Because the maximum you could place was Diamond 3 at that time. Now you can place up to Master 1000 points. The maximum you could place was Diamond 3, and it was this big race to get to Grandmaster. Again, now you can place Master 1k. They don't open up the Grandmaster rankings for a few days, but then and there, it was basically, you place Diamond 3, the first person to get to Master would get Grandmaster number 1. So it's this big race to get like a Grandmaster rank you probably didn't deserve. And what you would do is you would lose your games. Lose all the placement games intentionally, because your MMR was high enough if you were a contender for Grandmaster. Like if you were legitimately good enough to get to Grandmaster, or close, at least get to Master, you'd have an MMR high enough that if you lost all 10 of your placement games, it wouldn't matter. You'd still get placed in Diamond 3. Why would you want to lose? You wanted to lose because you wanted to tank your MMR as much as possible. Why did you want to do that? Because once your MMR is lower, i.e. when the game thinks you're worse, it's then easier to win because it matches you against slightly weaker opponents, or it places you with slightly better opponents to make up for the fact that you're not as good, or at least not as the game thinks you're not as good. Whereas if you went in and you won all your placement games, hey, the game thinks you're great, and then you get matched against really strong teams, or you get put with some weaker teammates to try to carry them. And at least in the initial form of ranked, just pure wins was worth so much more. Then they buffed the adjustments that you would get for having higher MMR, so it kind of disincentivized that. Then they went back in and they nerfed that, but they increased how high you could place, so now you can place up to Master 1k, so you're kind of incentivized to play pretty well. So you get place Master 1k, and then you've still got that nice personal adjustment from your MMR coming through. So there's a whole bunch of ups and downs really in terms of ranks and strategies and what you would want to do. That was certainly a massive issue like at the time, was that the best way to play. Now a lot of people didn't do it because it was kind of a bit of a dick move, right? But the best thing to do was to intentionally lose as many of your placements as possible if you wanted to get to the best Grandmaster rank you could early on. So yeah, they've toned it down now. So the issue that's happening this season is that apparently, like, people are just massively changing rank based on their placements, and it's particularly catered towards early placement matches as well, right? It's particularly catered towards early placements as well, where people are coming out of their placements and they've potentially, after placement games, you might have moved, two leagues, right? 2 leagues. You might have been diamond before. Well, hey, you went 4 and 6 in placements, which is not unreasonable. You were diamond before, yeah, now you're in gold. Sorry, because maybe you lost the first 4 placements. You won the final 6, but the first 4 really count for a lot. Yeah, sorry, that's you. You're down to gold now. You've dropped 2 leagues. Enjoy, probably dozens, if not like 100 or more hours of grinding to get back to where you were before, to the games that you probably ought to be in and are competitive in. So, yeah, that was a massive issue. Also, the flip side as well is, people that were, let's say someone was silver last season, gets a little bit lucky, wins their first few placement games, again, out of luck more so than anything, because that can totally happen. And they get up into diamond then out of their platinum, out of their placement. So they're up, 2 divisions. They're up 2 leagues, which is crazy. So Blizzard has come in and said, hey, hang on, actually, maybe this is not good for the game. We're going to reduce now how high or how much your placements will actually change, where you'll end up relative to where you were before. And their goal is that you're not going to drop anything more than a league, I think is what they're looking for. So if you were diamond last season, realistically you should be placing around about diamond this season, maybe high up in platinum, maybe low down in master, but you're not going to be placing into gold if you were diamond last season. So they're actually going to go through and they're going to adjust players to stop that from happening, and then vice versa as well. If you placed, if you were bronze last season, maybe you get silver this season, maybe bronze. If you're getting gold or platinum, though, that's obviously not right, and they're going to move it down. So we've got this big question of what should placements actually be? What is the place of placements anymore? And I'm kind of coming around to the idea that, maybe we should just get rid of placements as they are now. Just, why do we even need them? Maybe just ditch them, right? What are the pros and cons of this? And again, this alternate system that I would propose is we just have 20 placement games the first time you go into ranked. And that's it. First time an account goes into ranked, you have 20 placement games. It places you in your spot. And then you never do placement games again. A new season comes out. And then how about you get placed like midway through the league that you were in. So let's say you ended in Diamond League, you get placed into the middle of Diamond 3 and the next season, whether you were Diamond 5 or Diamond 1. Now that could change a little bit, that's not strictly necessary, I suppose, but I think it would kind of suck to be placed into Diamond 5 and initially, like right at the start of the season, be looking at demotion into a different league. I think that would feel pretty bad, so that's kind of my idea of placing people in the middle of leagues. After the season is that, you're kind of midway between both a demotion and a promotion between leagues. You've got a bit of leeway for, good or bad luck either way, and stuff like that. So that's my suggestion, just do the placements the first time and then never again, never again. I think it's okay as well. With this system, I would like to have some flexibility at the start of the season. Not as much as we had at the start of this season, but that your games at the start of the season, sure, they count for a little bit more. Why would I want that, and what am I looking at here? So this is what I think are the pros and cons, right? I think the pros of the current system we have, where you have 10 placement games every season, what's actually good about that? Well, I think the good thing is, it does a few things. The good thing is that it enables, very much so, this extra mobility in terms of ranks at the start of the season. Now, this one went way too far, no doubt about that, but in other seasons where it's worked alright, it does give you that extra mobility in terms of ranks. It's like a fresh start every season. You're kind of going, okay, hey, it's a new season. I practiced, I improved last season, I've studied up. I've watched all of Nubkeks videos, I'm ready to go now. But, like, okay, I've done that stuff. I've practiced. Now I can go in and it's like it's this fresh start, right? You go, okay, these games I can genuinely have a big impact on where I'm going to go. I can maybe raise myself up a couple of divisions. I can maybe even go up a league or something like that if I play really, really well. It's that chance to kind of skip a part of the grind, and yeah, just try different things. Try some different things and and see how it goes. I think that's really nice. And another way it facilitates this, of course, is that in your placement games, it hides all of your, your personal adjustment, performance-based adjustment as well. Like certainly what we saw from it while they were testing it there last week. Well, not testing, when they implemented it and then removed it last week. It wasn't testing. That didn't show up in placement games either. So it kind of takes some pressure off, right? You're not like going into your, even though your placement games make a big difference. Let's say you go into that first placement game, seeing as it's a placement game, like it's just hidden. All you see is win or loss. You don't see, hey, first placement game, you lost. Oh, minus 5 million points. Oh, and then that's a really disheartening thing to happen. You feel really bad. Because let's face it, your first placement game, it's basically 50-50 whether you win or you lose. Realistically speaking. Roughly speaking, you're probably expected to go 5-5 in placements. Like that's I presume the average. It has to be, doesn't it? So that's kind of what you're expecting. So, it's a 50-50 win rate, really. And that's what you're expecting in your first game. So going into it, when you've got that extra mobility in terms of ranks at the start of the season, if you're going into that and you're actually seeing that mobility in ranks in terms of losses, like especially, maybe you lose your first 3 placements, you get a pretty bad luck. That's going to feel really bad when you're seeing these big minus numbers and you're going, oh my god, my rank is just tanking. At least when it's, just placements, that feels a little less, it's a little less visible, it hides that. Just from a psychological perspective, I think that actually does kind of matter. And it also encourages and enables people to go for, to play Hero League, I think, a bit more. You don't have that immediate, like, oh yeah, well, hey, I'm kind of scared to play this season. I just got into gold last season. What if I lose my first 3 placement games and I drop way back down to silver and I'm way back, behind where I kind of started, based on placements? That feels pretty bad. So that's kind of my big concern there, and I think that's one thing that the current things do well. I would also say, though, one of the problems that they do at the moment, I would say, fine, your first placement, like each placement game counting the most at the start, and then each subsequent one counting a little less as the system becomes more confident. I think that's fine for a first-time account in ranked, because you want to get you've no idea how skilled the account is. You want to get that account placed in proper games as quickly as possible. So you're going to move it quickly at the start, and then you're going to refine it down and hopefully get things placed pretty quickly. Now that makes sense for a new account. What I don't think actually makes sense is for your placement games. On accounts that are existing, established, like an account that's played 300 games or something in the previous ranked season, you're not at all uncertain as to that player's skill level. In fact, you're quite certain. You've got an awful lot of knowledge as to how good that person is. So you don't need to have this crazy uncertainty at the start of the placements. If you're going to do, like, say, 10 placement games as they are now, well, why not have each one be equal in terms of uncertainty for, the players that are already there? So that you're not worried about, oh, well, I'm actually very concerned about my first few placements because they matter more. I really have to be on my ball, on the game for those, be on the ball, because, hey, if they go wrong, my ranking's going to be screwed. You should be just looking at it in terms of, okay, just what's my overall rank in the placements going to be? Each one matters as much as the next. So going into every subsequent game, I'm equally motivated to do well in it. I think that would be kind of important. And again, reducing just how much it can affect you. I think that would be really nice as well. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. It's kind of funny because before the season, I'd never actually honestly really thought about it. I was kind of happy with how placements were. It didn't bother me too much because they made relatively small changes. It more bothered me personally that we had the Diamond 3 cap. That really sucked. The Master 1K cap I thought was an awful lot better. To address that concern as well, like a lot of people are saying you should have a maximum placement of, like, platinum or something, make people work for those higher ranks. Maybe it could work. The thing that I have against that is the way that Blizzard has programs the rank systems, right, is that your matchmaking rating, your MMR actually persists for the most part through, right? It persists through, which means that you're not treated equally right, to another Diamond 3 player, right? So this was the problem with those old seasons, okay? Right, you walk into it, let's say, for example, let me take the season where I was Grandmaster at the end and then at the start of between two seasons. So let's use that as an example that actually occurred, right? Ending a season as Grandmaster, play the 10 placement games, you place into Diamond 3. Again, you're not treated equally to a player that was Diamond 3 and then ends up in Diamond 3. Basically, the game knows that you're Grandmaster, right? Because it has your MMR. It knows what your MMR is. It's determining that as it goes. So what it does is it places you against other Grandmaster standard players that are currently in Diamond 3 if they're available. So on that particular season, again, like, you wanted to, this was back at the time where you wanted to grind crazy hard the first few days. And I missed a couple of days, and then I started grinding again a couple of days behind people, so that the other, you know, potential Grandmaster players had gotten a lot higher in terms of ranks. Like they got a, you know, Diamond 2, Diamond 1, a few of them had already got, you know, Master, Grandmaster. I remember that day in particular because I got like Remmer Baller from Tricked Esports now. I got him in every single game, about like 6 games in a row. We kept getting each other in the enemy team. Why? Because we were the only 2 people, you know, who had been Grandmaster before that were at that particular time queuing up for Hero League and Diamond 3. You're not treated equally. And basically that was one of the problems with the old system, the old Diamond 3 system, was why? Because it was just this giant grind. Because you were match made as if you were Grandmaster, even though you were visibly Diamond 3, which meant that it would try to put you with other Diamond 3 players, so it would try to get like 4 weaker Diamond 3 players and put you against like a team of stronger Diamond 3 players just to balance things out, because it kept trying to make balanced games. And therefore the way that you would climb was basically you'd have to grind about 100 games, 50% win rate, you know, so long as the system actually is accurate on your skill level, that's what you would get. But it would give you big bonuses to your rank points, right? Because it knows you're supposed to be in Grandmaster and it's treating you as such. So it gave you bonuses. It was kind of a sucky way to grind, you know. Like realistically, I know a lot of people, it might take like 100 games or so to get from Diamond 3 up to, you know, some reasonable master points. And it was quite the grind every season to get up there. So that's a big concern. So I would not want to be placed like in Platinum and be like, okay, yeah, you've got high MMR though in Platinum, right? Like, okay, yeah, you're kind of you're Grandmaster MMR, but you're like Platinum now, so yeah, you're just gonna be, it's gonna be really, really wonky matchmaking. It's gonna be horrible. I think if you did put a cap on it like that, you'd really have to make it so that kind of treated equally. It's like, okay, look, if the maximum placement is Platinum, then everyone has to be treated the same. Like, okay, if you're Platinum, everyone's treated as if they're Platinum, and all Platinums are equal regardless of what you were the previous season, just to enable like kind of that free climb. It would be total chaos. It would be absolute total chaos. You have even more one-sided games than you have now because the matchmaking would be so imbalanced. But I think that's what you have to do, because it'd be very, I think it'd be very, very unhealthy for the game if you did put on these like caps in terms of placements while still not having like caps in terms of MMR or the effect that it can have, because it just makes matchmaking bad. You know, the best matchmaking is where everyone is put into games with players of similar skill, and when you have those rules, that just doesn't happen. It's very interesting, so I don't think Blizzard ever confirmed it before. They confirmed it in the Blizzard interview that Caldor did, which I thought was really interesting, at Travis, where he's saying that, yeah, what they would do is they would try, you know, they feel like as a design perspective, it feels bad if you're placed into a ranked game with people of different ranks, regardless of skill, right? So even if, again, let's say between 2 seasons, right, a former Grandmaster player from one season comes back a week late, does placements, gets Diamond 3 cap, they won't put that player, even though everyone knows that they're Grandmaster, the game knows they're Grandmaster, you know, let's say Grandmaster #1, whoever, right? Obviously they're a Grandmaster standard player. It won't put them in a game with other Grandmasters. Why? Because Blizzard feels that it's bad to have players of different ranks, that they feel it's bad if you're a Grandmaster and then you get, you know, a Diamond 3 in your game, you're going to be really upset, even if they are of similar skill. They don't like that idea, so what they do is they force you into games with people of similar rank, even though there may be you know, there may be a, let's say when that Grandmaster number 1 dude is grinding up his Diamond 3 account, if you're queuing up as a Grandmaster, you know, it might put you with a Master player who's actually, you know, just a Master player. It won't put you with the guy who's actually Grandmaster number 1 standard, because he's currently Diamond 3 because of his displaced, and Blizzard feels that makes for bad matchmaking. So that was, yeah, it's kind of, I thought that was really interesting. I thought it was really interesting. And there's a bunch of stuff going on with that. But that basically puts me where I am now, where I'm kind of going, okay, you know what? I don't really think we need placement games that much anymore. I really don't think we need them that much. I'd actually be very happy if they made placements a thing that you only do the first time you go into ranked. And then, sure, at the start of the new season, you know, you can earn bonus points or lose bonus points as well for like your wins and losses at the start of the season, and you can see that visibly, and it goes down, up or down a little bit, but that it's not that big, right? That you could have smaller adjustments. It's not that big of a deal. Like maybe there's an extra 50 points or 40 points or something at the start of the season, and then that slowly goes down on your wins and losses, so things change a bit. Maybe 50 is even too many, because nowadays we're going to have, or going forwards, presumably we'll have performance-based matchmaking, which will also be making adjustments, so you'll actually move to your proper rank, in theory, a lot faster. So we don't even need placements even that much in terms of, as they are today, giving you that mobility between ranks at the start of every season. Yeah, that's kind of what I think about that. Let me know what you guys think on the topic. I'll be curious to hear. And yeah, I'll see you guys very soon to finish this season's placements. Hooray! Soon, soon, soon. So I'll see you guys for that. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.